knowledge of heart disease, to prevention, and again, the care that we can provide here in town. Another thing that's also very important is every time we have these talks, I always let everybody know that, you know, we all do public health together. And the fact that you get to hear important things here that catch your attention, it's also very important that you can go and tell your friends, your family about the things that we've learned today. And that's really the way in which we can pass all this information to our people and community servers. So I'm not gonna take much time. Kevin, please.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, hello, thank you for having me back.
You're welcome.
I guess I did okay last year. So yeah, I want to acknowledge my nurse here in the audience. This is Joanna. If anybody has any questions, you can talk to Joanna. She makes our office run smoothly. I'm going to talk just for a few minutes in generalities, and then we'll just open it up for questions you might have, and try to talk through those. I've been here since June of 2015. Prior to that, I practiced 10 years in Kansas City, Missouri, at a hospital about the size of Covenant in Lubbock. And we've made some inroads on things that we can do here in town that we weren't doing before. In fact, a lot of people in the area hasn't had a dobutamine stress echo program or a stress echo program. So since I've been here in that year and a half, I went from a part-time nurse who I shared with another doctor to, we have 4 staff members in the office now, as of earlier this month. And in the hospital, we've expanded our stress lab to a second stress lab. We did that last summer. And we've added new equipment for cardiac imaging. So we have a second echo machine and a second technologist. So we've doubled our expansion there and our productivity there and the availability to the community. There are a lot of things that we can do here in town that we don't have to run to Amarillo or Lubbock for. For your heart care, we can do almost everything here with the exception of getting a heart surgery or a stent or a pacemaker. Other than that, we can do everything else here in town. You don't have to drive 100 miles for one way or both ways. We do have a close relationship with Covenant Hospital in Lubbock. They are our partners, so typically if we need a surgery or a stent or a pacemaker, we go to Covenant Hospital, but some people have other preferences and we certainly help to support that. That being said, does anybody have any questions about what we can do here? Some of you have had them already. All right, I'll just open it up to questions. Whoever wants to ask a question.
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
Dr. Jones, last year when you diagnosed me with congestive heart failure, like I walk around the park a half mile to a mile each day except not the winter months. But like where I live, I have 23 stair steps. Does that help my heart better than me walking around the park, or what?
I think you dropped something.
Thank you.
It helps your overall health with more exercise. Stairs are obviously harder than walking on a flat surface. When we do a stress test, we don't have you walk on a flat surface, we have you walk on an incline. So we, all the time we'll have people that say, oh, I walk on a treadmill 45 minutes a day, this stress test will take us 45 minutes. I said, okay, go right ahead. Well, you start, I'll go have lunch and be back. And we're actually done in 8 minutes probably. They don't use the incline like we do. So I can't say that doing that exercise strengthens your heart. It overall produces better activity for you where you have more stamina and can do more, which is overall better for your health. You can't exercise your heart muscle into health.
I just want everyone to know, when he diagnosed me last year, he let me know everybody's heart goes like this. Mine is taking its time. Yeah. Okay.
That's one of the things that's important to me is when we see people in the hospital or office, we're going to take time to talk about what you have and try to explain it. You're gonna do better with it, if you understand what you're dealing with and what to expect. If I just come in and say, hi, you have heart failure, here's your medicine, goodbye, I'm not gonna take that medicine either. So we will take the time to discuss those things. We'll go through questions in the office or in the hospital. And, you know, we wanna teach. I think that's part of the healing process, is knowing what we're up against. Okay, anyone else? Please, ma'am.
Okay, Dr. Jones, so my father had it's been about 3 or 4 months ago, he had 3 strokes. Has had in the past open heart surgery, quadruple bypass. And he recently, I think it was like last month, he fell down and broke his hip. He had been in the recovery process from the 3 strokes that he previously had, and he was doing good. He got too confident and too comfortable one day, and he fell down and broke his right hip. With him having, because I do understand that he has to have he's got to stay active, but with the hip surgery, what would you recommend? Because this time he is recovering very, very slowly because of the hip. Matter of fact, you and Dr. Lara were ones that were here in Plainview when Daddy had hip surgery.
No.
What would you recommend for me to do or suggest, since he is, he's limited to his walking, exercise? What would you recommend or suggest for me to do to help him with his heart, his hip surgery, and so on and so forth?
So how long has it been since he fractured the hip?
It's been about a month. We do have occupational therapy, physical therapy come in 3 times a week. He does take his, I believe it's Plavix, and but some of that interferes with the medication that he takes for his hip. So, and he is 76 years old. So what natural remedies would you suggest? I guess I'm looking for a natural remedy other than all this medication stuff that he's on.
That's the question.
Yes.
Well, I would be careful in those, depending on what we're dealing with. There are some that have a little bit of research behind them, and there are some that really don't. So I don't have a natural remedy that works as good as Plavix, so I wouldn't recommend doing a natural remedy instead of Plavix. I'm real careful about those things. I understand people want to have those, and sometimes we think if it's natural, it's healthy. That's not always the case. Too much of anything is not a good thing. So a few years ago, I would say in the last 5 or 6 years, every year or two we get a breakthrough that's gonna end all heart and vascular disease. And that particular year, it was high doses of vitamin E. So people were taking very high doses of vitamin E, thinking that it's an antioxidant, it's gonna clear my vessels, it's not gonna have heart attack or stroke. The outcome was they had more bleeding strokes and actually bled, actually hurt yourself with high doses of vitamin E. For those of you taking vitamin E, if you need vitamin E, 400 international units is the requirement. That's 100% your daily requirement. People were taking 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and they actually harmed themselves. So just because it's natural doesn't mean it's safe. I think that's the pitfall we get into. There's a lot of natural things out there, which is a very big business, that we don't know how it interacts with other medicines. So we're a little concerned about using those with certain things. Certainly if I have people come in the office and ask me about those, I have resources that I can look at, and we'll try to sort through those. And we'll say, these look okay, go ahead, or I'd rather you not take this and stick with the other. So your other question about his overall health, it sounds like he's getting the therapy he needs. You know, he's been through a lot, and we have to think about surgeries in general. So, if he was healthy and had a hip surgery, how old is he, if you don't mind?
76.
76. So he's gonna have a slower recovery than a 40-year-old anyway, but he's already started with a baseline that isn't very good, so he's gonna need more time to heal and get stronger. So I think patience for him is a big part of that. And it sounds like he's getting good therapy at home, so I think he'll be okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I currently am taking Lipitor, and I'm not having any problems with it, but I've been on this for several years. How often would you recommend having your cholesterol checked? And if you're not having any problems with, say, a certain medicine, do you just need to just talk with your doctor about it, or what have you seen in your practice regarding that?
Lipitor's been around for a good long while. I would say it's coming up on 20 years. And the generic name is atorvastatin. It is an excellent medicine. Now, all of those medicines in the category of statins, so simvastatin, so forth, it's been around for 30 years probably. Pravastatin, Pravachol, lovastatin. Crestor is rosuvastatin. There's a couple of others. All of those in that category have a little bit of a bad reputation. And some of that stems back from the 80s when there was something called Baycol. That was a cholesterol medicine that turned out in a few people caused liver failures. That medicine is no longer on the market. It hasn't been for years. In fact, since I practiced it, it's never been available. So from that problem, they said as a blanket, we're gonna check all these labs and all these people frequently. And a few years ago, the guidelines for that recommendation come out and said, you really don't need to do that anymore. So you don't need to check liver tests frequently unless there's another reason. You're on other medicines that potentially could harm your liver. Other things that you do have liver problems already, or have had problems with the cholesterol medicines changing your liver numbers. We still check them once in a while, but the frequent, every 2 or 3 months, isn't recommended anymore. As far as the reputation of aches, yes, people do have aches on that. We think it's in around the 15% range. A lot of aches gets blamed on those medicines, which really aren't those medicines. Typically, when we have those aches, they're in the muscle, not in the joint for most people. So someone will come in and say, my knee hurts or my elbow really hurts. Probably not the medicine. So your forearm hurts or your thigh hurts, it might be. And we check that. There's a blood test that looks at a muscle enzyme to see if that's elevated from injury. That doesn't tell me if you hurt or not, it tells me if it's destroying muscle. The big concern about some of those medicines also is, there's a go again, some of them caused muscle irritation and damage to the point where people had kidney problems.